what is the mother doing? Because that's the natural buffer between the father and the daughter
Was
on both
was
sides.
was the mother the natural buffer when you said on call that you had watched one of your 6-year-old children masturbate?
6-year-old children?
I have a
Oh,
recording of it. I have a
when I
recording
was
of
in a
it.
daycare center and I became aware that there was a girl soothing herself, what's wrong with that? There's nothing more. You think that's morally wrong?
Hold on.
I'm
Okay.
in a daycare
you-
center. This kid's like kind of grinding up against the thing. I noticed it. I didn't really talk to anyone about it, but like, I had to kind of make sense of this, like,
Hold
because
on.
you don't usually
Okay.
see that.
Let me
It wasn't a big
ask
deal
you
for me.
a couple of precursory questions, and then we'll get to it. Okay.
Sure.
Do you think that it is okay for an adult to watch a child as young as 6 to masturbate?
To watch them masturbate, to be aware that they're masturbating, yeah.
You think it's okay for them to watch?
But you're framing that in a way that's twisting it.
No,
But
no.
yes.
I'm. This is what.
I
this
didn't
is why
watch.
it's
I would just
important.
became aware of it. I didn't watch.
Okay. So is the implication that you don't think it's okay for an adult to watch a 6-year-old masturbate?
In a sexual way, no, it's not okay.
No, not in a. I don't care if it's sexual or not for the adult. Do you think it's okay for an adult to watch a 6-year-old masturbate?
Depends what you mean by watch.
Well, what I mean is having your eyeballs in the direction that if the person were masturbating, you would be able to view it.
If I'm watching children and one of them, they're supposed to be taking a nap, and one of them is behaving oddly, I hear like sounds from that person, and I turn my attention to that person to see what's going on. That's completely normal. It's in fact like obligatory.
It's obligatory for you to watch a child masturbate.
No, it's obligatory. Is that you got the wrong? You emphasized the wrong syllable.
I don't care about the syllables.
Well,
I
it
will
matters.
say the word the way I naturally say it.
Well, that's
don't
not how
find
English.
it
That's not how
wrong.
the English language works.
That's
No,
great.
did I feel like no one would find that wrong? My supervisor, the state of Washington, wouldn't find anything wrong with that at all. In fact, it would be something that like someone who is a good caretaker would notice, and they would put it in the back of their mind as something like, okay, that's a little unusual. It's not going to make me have a confrontation with the parents, but if this kid was to continue acting in a way that's sexually seem like, then my concern would be that this might be an indication of some sexual abnormality. If I saw a lot of it, that would
so
be
you
right.
would never. So you
File it in
you
the
would-
file. Yep.
Yeah. So you would never place yourself in the position of authority to say that, despite the fact that you might have these sexual inclinations, because your
The kid?
body's growing in some sense. Yes. Let's say
It could be a red flag. It might not be.
I would be afraid that it was.
Hold on.
If I myself was turned on by it, then there would be a whole other series of like questions I would ask.
So it's actually
I
okay
wasn't.
to watch kids masturbate so long as you're not turned on by it.
Look, I've worked with kids my entire life. You do have to be aware, like one of the red flags is like sort of like a lot of genital playing. If a kid's doing that, yep, you're taking care of an elementary school. If a girl is like constantly rubbing herself, or a boy is, or there's like, it looks like there's like sexual activity going on, you absolutely should. You absolutely. You have to be very careful with kids not to humiliate them, and understand that sometimes this stuff is normal, and it's really damaging to like scream at them. But kids have sexual behaviors, and you should be aware when they're excessive that there may be an indication of a problem. But you have to be very careful about it. And the last thing you want to do is humiliate kids sexually, as Grace's mother did to her. Oops, I'm not supposed to mention that because Sick has a rule about that makes no sense. Even though he talks about his father, he talks about his relationships, and he talks about his daughter. But I can't mention Courtney because it's a rule. But anyways, I'm not going to explain it. I'll just show you what I masturbate with. And that's how my brain works. Because I'm sick. And I'm a faggot, and I don't care because you have to shut up when I say. So, and I'm a faggot, and I don't care because you have to shut up when I say. So, does that answer your question? Yeah, like yes. Let's ask normal people, Dave. If you have, I don't know if you have kids or whatever.
No.
If you have kids, if you had kids and they were in an elementary school setting, and you noticed they were being the teacher noticed that they were doing something odd sexually, either with other kids or by themselves, would you want that teacher to observe that? And if it was excessive, bring it to your attention in a way which was careful? Or would you want them to feel like they are not supposed to notice that because they might be a pedophile if they notice it?
Not the pearl clutch. The term watching it is
Observe.
kind of loaded, but like notice it and make sure it's not a constant occurrence. Yes.
Okay,
like sitting there actually like watching it like to completion would be kind of weird.
Completion. I mean, well, whatever.
I have no idea. I don't even know if.
Okay, but if one kid comes, if I'm a teacher and one kid comes to me and goes, let's say this girl Claire is like taking boys like behind the trees and like pulling down their pants. Okay, am I supposed to say, oh my God, I'm not supposed to notice that, like, or whatever, right? Like, aren't I gonna say like, okay, well, that's a problem?
Well, you should.
There's something going on here.
Report it to the parents immediately in that case.
Well, but okay, but you don't. First of all, you don't know if that's true.
Because in the
okay. Secondly, you don't want to create a witch hunt. You don't know who she's talking about, right? So you're going to like keep an eye out, right? That's what you're actually going to do. You're going to say, okay, whatever you have to report.
Yeah, the
I don't
term
know.
Watch just makes it sound kind of creepy.
But you're going to observe.
It's just the word.
You're going to observe whether this, like, let's say the kid's talking to you, but she has a thing about Claire. Whatever, maybe she made something up. Who knows, right? So you're going to use your powers of observation to try to figure out what, if anything, is going on before you start taking action and reporting people to the authorities, right? You're going to want to know what is going on.
That it's not something
as the adult.
Serious. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so that's not only not
the term
sus.
Watching just sounds bad.
Okay, but observing is not.
Correct.
Okay.
Because watching is like intent, like I'm sitting here making sure this is going the way I want it to or something. It's like.
But Dave, doesn't this get ridiculous at a certain point? This is the problem with the internet. It's fucking ridiculous.
I agree, and I hate it. I hate having to like hedge my words and make sure I'm
you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Don't give a fuck, Dave. Stop giving
let's all just
do
it. Dave's a pedophile. Dave's a pedophile. Dave's a pedophile. Dave's a pedophile. Dave fucks kids. Dave's a pedophile. So just pop the cherry and let you move on and talk like normal people. Obviously, the person who has sexual problems here, we all can see, is sick. He literally calls himself sick. And we now know that he's sexually sick. There's a picture in chat of something that shows that he's sick. He's had gay fantasies. He's sick. He's dressed up as a female and fucked females behind lesbians, whatever. It's off. Chad's a weirdo.
Or I said I was a wheelchair. Don't forget that.
I've